strangest thing. It's shorter than you think. No think. It's short.
But still his case is a mystery, and tonight, one step closer to finding out what happened to this 25-year-old.
Most importantly, how and why did Day end up in the Illinois River?
Elizabeth Matthews live tonight with the details. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, today we did get some new information from the LaSalle County coroner ruling it a drowning, but still there's a lot of questions surrounding this case. Cause of death, drowning. The manner of death, unknown. 2 months after Illinois State grad student Jelani Day went missing, there are still more questions than answers. The 25-year-old's body was found severely decomposed in the Illinois River near Peru, 60 miles from where he was last seen on the Bloomington College campus. The LaSalle County coroner releasing this statement Monday, reporting Jelani died due to drowning, but there was no such evidence of any injury, such as strangulation, assault, or gunshot wound. Many in recent weeks starting to call on local law enforcement to hand the case over to the FBI.
The FBI has the specialized resources and skill set to be able to look into this case. This case is mysterious for many folks.
The FBI behavioral unit is assisting, looking at Jelani's state of mind, not a suspect, according to family. Jelani was a swimmer. His mother told Fox 32 in early October her son was murdered.
He had his sound mind. He was not troubled by anything. We had just spoken on Monday. We have a family vacation that is planned for Thanksgiving. We were planning for that vacation.
Marched in unity with Jelani Day's family and civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson to demand further investigation into the cause of Day's death. The Illinois State University graduate student was last seen on campus in late August. His remains were found in early September before being identified later that month. And just yesterday, the LaSalle County coroner said that Day drowned, but his family is still asking federal agencies to get involved. Joining us to discuss the march in Peru, Illinois, and the investigation is Jonathan Jackson, a spokesperson for the Rainbow Push Coalition. We had hoped to also be joined by Carmen Bolden Day, Jelani's mother, and we do look forward to hearing from her. Jonathan Jackson, thank you for joining us. If you could, tell us more about what happened at today's rally.
Today we had a staging area at the Peru Police Department in Peru, Illinois. We drove past where better than a mile away where his license was found. Then we drove better than a mile away to where the car was in a residential area in the bushes and in a walking trail, but a car was driven in that trail. From there we went about 3.5 miles over to the bridge where the clothes were found. And then we went to the final place where the body came down shore about 1.5 miles from there. So students from those campuses from Central Illinois all gathered asking for justice for Jelani. His parents and family members were there.
And it sounds like we know his belongings were found scattered about and in different places from where his car and, of course, his body were found. What is it that you are asking of from Peru law enforcement?
Well, we're asking justice for Jelani Day. The case starts in Bloomington, Illinois, so it's Bloomington's case. And the mother who invited us as the Rainbow Push to come down and assist her in seeking justice for her child. They've not been in communication with her. They say it's multi-jurisdictional, that it starts in Bloomington, then it goes to LaSalle County. Items were found in Peru, the city, with buttresses against LaSalle City, which is in LaSalle, the county. The clothes were found on state property on a state road. The body was recovered by a state agency in the river. So we're asking for the Attorney General, since there's this multi-jurisdictional dropping of the ball, and no one is taking leadership. No one's calling the parents back. No one's talking to them, and there's discrepancy in the cases. The man's eyes were out of his head. The jawbone was broken. Teeth were missing. They said the organs had been dissolved because they had been in the river for better than a week. There's too many inconsistencies. Jelani could swim. He's 25 years old. He's healthy. He was en route to medical school. We simply want questions answered.
And Jonathan, we know that yesterday Reverend Jesse Jackson visited with students and staff at Illinois State University. He has compared this case to that of Emmett Till. What are the similarities you see here? How are you certain that that foul play or hate crime could be at work here?
We're not saying hate crime. We're saying the gruesomeness of the body. A coroner that knew Jelani could not recognize the remains after 7 to 10 days. The mother was never able to see the body. We've been told there have been 3 autopsies that have all major discrepancy. The mothers had to pay for 2 autopsies, 2 private autopsies. What the coroner did for LaSalle County that issued the report yesterday was very disingenuous and very insulting. As opposed to sharing this with the parents and the family, he just broadcasted it and said that a body that a skull that's missing teeth, a jawbone that's been dismembered, eyes that are out, and organs that have been liquefied, that he could not tell if there were any organs in the body, had drowned face down for a young man that could swim. It makes no sense. So we're simply trying to ask the community to get involved. We've had 2 business persons to step forward and say they're offering rewards for people that can lead to tips to help us solve this crime. This is a family of veterans. The mother and father are both veterans. It's a family of 5. They're all in college.
And Jonathan,
it makes no sense.
Sorry to interrupt, but we've got just a couple more minutes, and I wanted to mention that the LaSalle County coroner, as we said, did identify the cause of death as drowning, but has said that we don't know how Jelani ended up in the river. And as you just said, as well as university and staff have said that, students and staff have said that he's an avid swimmer and was on the university's swim team, that his mother is paying for a private autopsy. Do you know when we might know the results of that autopsy?
No, we would expect that to be imminent, probably in the next week or 2. But to the point that how can this coroner, not release those findings to the parents, number one, but he says it publicly. Number 2, he says that there weren't organs in there and that the lungs that had been dissolved had water in them after having been in the lake, in the river for the last 10 days. He's a very dishonorable person, is what I would tell you about the coroner. And that's why there was a 2nd and a 3rd. And now the body has been so disfigured that you can't even do an autopsy. So after 10 days in the Illinois River, this body is what my father was referring to, Reverend Jesse Jackson, of being the gruesomeness of Emmett Till.
Yes. And Jonathan, in the few seconds that we have left, how would you say, when you look at this case, how does it compare to other missing persons cases that we've learned about nationally?
Well, I would tell you that what we've seen in, I would tell you, not just missing persons, but the power of the Attorney General. When it's multi-jurisdictional, it starts in Bloomington, and they're not sharing information. The car is going back and forth as evidence in between counties where the crime scene has not been roped off, and no one is leading the investigation. That's why we're specifically asking for the Illinois Attorney General. We saw this same sort of scenario happen. Yeah, we saw this happen in Minnesota with George Floyd. When it was a question on jurisdiction, Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, stepped forward and brought all the agencies together.
And it's certainly
for the leadership in Kwame Raoul.
It's certainly a tragic case either way. Jonathan Jackson, thank you.
Up to the discovery of this young graduate student's body more than 60 miles from his campus, found in a river in a city his family says was completely foreign to him. His family tells the I-Team they will not rest until they know exactly what happened to Jelani Day.
This area is where they drove in.
This wooded area in the small town of Peru, Illinois, has become all too familiar to Jelani Day's mother, Carmen.
This trail here, somebody drove through here.
Right here, police found the one concrete clue in his disappearance, her son's car with the license plates removed.
My kids didn't come to Peru for nothing. Never was raised anywhere near here. Don't know anyone here. And Jelani would not have known to come and park his car in this wooded area.
The distance between where Jelani's car was found to where his body was found is another puzzling part of this mystery. From this spot, the I-team had to drive nearly 2 miles to the Illinois River, where investigators located Day's body. His mom says none of this makes sense.
How are you coping with all of this right now?
I've had to grieve while working and trying to find answers.
The search for answers leads back to the Illinois State University campus. August 25th, one of Day's professors reports he didn't show up to class, and he wasn't picking up his phone.
I didn't get any text messages back because usually that's our thing. He'll call me right back. That's the moment when I said something is wrong.
Investigators say Day was last seen on campus the day before, August 24th, at around 7:20 a.m. at the Student Center. And that same day at 9:12 a.m., this is the last known image of Jelani. He was spotted on surveillance video at a cannabis dispensary in Bloomington.
Our detectives were looking through electronic data, and this was really the last location that we had. Anything that's connected to, say, electricity or cell phone tower is something that we, the police, can look into.
But as for how his car got from here to Peru, Illinois, which is 60 miles north, that remains a mystery.
Right in here.
From where Jelani's car was located, we noticed a trail that leads to a nearby road.
I guarantee you my son didn't drive himself here. Whoever brought Jelani here, they were very familiar with this area.
Earlier this week, the LaSalle County coroner said Day's cause of death is drowning because he was found in the river, and that there was no evidence of injury to the body. Day's mother is adamant anyone in the community who believes Jelani did this to himself is wrong.
Number one, Jelani knew how to swim. For them to imply that Jelani drove his car into this space, took it all the way over there, parked it, removed his license plate, then walked to where they're saying that his body was found 1.5 miles away from here, and took off his shoes, his socks, and his shorts, and put himself in this water. Doesn't even make sense.
Day's mom says the license plates to her son's car and his phone still haven't been found. The family tells me they are demanding answers and justice.
I know that Jelani knows that no matter what he was doing, whenever he needed me, I was there. So I know now that he knows that I am going to be there, and I'm going to find out what happened to him.
Now, the police departments on this case tell the I-team they are working tirelessly to find out what happened to Jelani and are dedicated to providing the family with answers. But Jelani's mother tells me she feels she has received limited assistance from local and state officials and is initiating a third independent autopsy. She is pleading with the Illinois Attorney General and the FBI to take over this case and help her find out what happened to her son.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back. It's your girl, Queen's House Crime, and I'm back with another quick video. The cause of death for Jelani Day, they say it's drowning. We the people would like to know, as well as the family, how did you come to that conclusion? How? You told us his organs was liquefied, mush. As you just watched, the coroner said there were no organs. The first coroner, the one I told you, was degrading Jelani's body. They deliberately degraded Jelani Day's body. That first corner. You sawed off his jawbone. Teeth were missing. Of course, there's going to be trauma to the body. It was no water for 11 days. But you sawed off the jawbone. You removed his teeth because you used it for DNA. Don't forget that. You used it because you said you used dental records. So after you used dental records, what did you do with his teeth? As you hear, they're calling that first coroner dishonorable. What did I tell y'all from day one? When he released, he had the body for 20-something days. I told y'all and I asked y'all, what is he down there doing to the body? What you down there doing to the body? And I knew he was tampering with the body and tampering with evidence. He sawed off that baby's jawbone, removed his teeth, said organs was not in his body. They was liquefied mush. So how did anyone come determine drowning with no organs? But if you listen, the guy said that the coroner said the water was in the mush lungs and it was dissolved. Or if it was dissolved and the water was in the body, that doesn't necessarily mean he drowned. It's not making sense. And being at this point, the body has been in so many hands, we do not know was he physically injured, just where he could not swim and save himself because he was a good swimmer? Was he some way incapacitated where he could not swim to save his life? The COD of drowning, something's not right with that, because how did you determine that with organs that are liquefied mush, that was mushed due to the water and decomp? How did you come to that? Y'all are trying to implicate suicide. Something's not right here. But I told y'all that first corner is foul. They degraded Jelani's body. They tore his body to pieces. And the Mother Nature already did her part. But that first corner took it upon himself to tear apart their body. And the question is why? For who? Is this a cover-up? Because there was no need to saw off his jawbone unless you didn't want something seen. There was no need to saw off the jawbone unless you didn't want something seen. There was no need to remove his teeth unless there was damage to his teeth. And in those 11 days, I do not believe every organ was liquefied. And if the organs were so damaged, how did you come up with drowning COD? There is a third autopsy underway. So y'all get ready for that third autopsy. It should be back in about a week or two. We'll see what that says. But right now, the body's been through too much hands. And the first coroner messed the body up so bad, you cannot determine if there was any damage to him on the outside. All evidence is pretty much gone. So it's going to take a lot to find out what happened to Jelani. And we want answers. We want answers. We the people want to know, how did you come up with drowning with damaged organs? How? And why did you go outside why did you do all of that to his body? Why? What was the purpose? What was the reason? Those are the questions that you got to ask. Why? Who What are you covering up? For who? This your girl Queen Talks Crime, and I'll be back with another video.